So, whenever you're ready, if you could provide a definition for blended learning.
So blended learning is the opportunity to combine in-class coursework and coursework done at the student's own pace, primarily through online learning. That's kind of where the hybrid blended term comes in.
Is basically an initiative to place more emphasis on technology and place more responsibility of learning on the student. It's like the student is on some days designated by the teacher allowed to leave the classroom and go work in designated areas around the school, so they can try to pick what environment they best learn in, and they can manage their time in the way they see best fit. And overall, it just places a greater emphasis on the student to drive the learning, which is a skill that many job force or colleges are going to want to see post high school. So I think it's a great way for high school students to try and build skills that they'll need after high school.
Okay, well, it's like a type of class where some days you can be in the classroom with the teacher and like ask questions, and some days you can like go out and just work on whatever work you have like assigned at the time. So you don't have to be in the classroom at all times. It's like you have some freedom in that way.
So basically, it's just like a normal course. Like we do all the same things that the not blended class does. We just instead of kind of having to stay in class and do our formative work or like practicing what we're doing for our final project, we get to go out of the class and do whatever we want sometimes. So we kind of get the freedom to choose to spend our time however we want during our blended time. So we still have the same like requirements and all that, but we just get a little bit more freedom.
How do you know where you're supposed to be when?
So what happens is every Friday our teacher for that blended class will post on Schoology on our calendar what students, if there are any students that are going to be blended in that day. So sometimes it's the whole class, sometimes it's students who might need a little help with the material that we're learning at the time, and then sometimes if you're even blended out, you can always blend in if you want to get extra help from the teacher as well. But that's always posted the week before, so that way we can plan our week and how we're going to manage our time with our classwork.
For me, blended in, usually it's like more opportunity to have like a one-on-one conversation with your teacher. Like teacher can help you more in advance than having like a whole class with all like 30 students. But now it could be like 15 students. And then some days there's like Socratic discussions where she wants half the class in, giving people more opportunity to talk.
And if you were being honest, like how do you use your blended time?
Well, for me personally, I do English better at home, which is in like the comfort of my home. So this gives me like plenty of time to do my other homework here and then finish all my English at home.
I think that the blended has really worked for me because I don't really work best when a teacher is right by me. So I actually do spend my time doing a lot of my English stuff, but I find myself being a lot more productive than I would in class.
Okay, so because you're both in after-school activities, you're both in dance team, has blended been a positive thing for you to help manage that kind of time?
It really has been because like we said earlier, like I get like the smaller stuff done first, so then like when I get home I don't have like all the small things, like I have like all of that done and then I can just like focus on one thing when I get home and then like I can go to bed earlier.
Mm-hmm. Where do you typically go for blended?
Every time I go to the LRC, just because like you could talk with friends and just like it's a great work environment too.
I usually go to the annex or sometimes like the furniture around the school, like in like a quiet place so it's easier to focus.
I like to blend out by the Fieldhouse hallway because it has big windows and it's like nice and warm and everything, but there's tons of different places that you can blend out.
Okay, so a parent has to decide, do I help like herd my kid into blended or not blended? So what should a parent think about? What skills are necessary to be successful in blended?
I think a big thing is just finding out what classes you're good at. Like I had the option to take a blended math class this year, but I opted out of it because I know myself and I know that I'm just not going to get math done because math is my one subject that I just struggle with constantly. So I need that time in class with a teacher and I need that structure to go through notes with a teacher in order for me to be successful in a math class. So I think it's for parents, you need to know and go through with your kid and ask them, would you be comfortable doing this on your own? or do you think that this is something you would need more help in class?
Well, when you're thinking about whether or not you should put your kid in BlendEd, I think BlendEd is good if you want to give them that like college preparedness sort of course, because it teaches them responsibility and time management, which is a good thing to have in high school.
I definitely think there are skills that you need to be successful in BlendEd. I'd say it's really more individual about the person and kind of knowing your student's working style. If there's someone who's a lot more independent and they can get their homework done and understand things without much help from the teacher or a ton of input outside of class, BlendEd would definitely be for them. But if there's someone who needs a lot more time and they kind of need that day-to-day classroom setting to keep them on schedule or even just to feel more organized, I would suggest either making sure that your student blends in, meaning that they're always in class, because you don't have to go out of class if you're blended out, or to take a regular class.
Really is about time management. But if you start off with all blended classes and your kid's just like, woohoo, I don't have to go to school, then like, it's not gonna work.
You also have to be responsible, like knowing when you need to go in to get help. Like, you could be doing all your work, but you still don't really like understand it unless you like talk to the teacher. So that's like the line you have to like draw for yourself.
Geometry.
AP Physics 1.
AAT.
Journalism.
In yearbook.
Web development.
Economics.
Entrepreneurship. Did I say that right?
Honors US History. Sociology.
AP Lang.
PSP.
Pre-calculus.
World Literature Honors.
Human Anatomy and Physiology.